This is your boy Political Hamzy. If you like this content, please click the like button, the subscription button, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell. Today is going to be nice and sweet, short and simple, talking all things Nigeria. For those of you following what's happening in Nigeria, we've seen the Chinese company that has, through a court order in France, they've confiscated a good number of assets belonging to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But at this point, it's nothing to do with the federal government. It's all down to the Ogun State government. This happened during the tenure of Governor Musa and Governor Benga Daniel. But this shows you it shows you the incompetence of government. The rot in Nigeria starts from the bottom to the top. It shows you how things are done in a very negligent manner. You signed a contract with a foreign firm. You know, when you sign a contract, you have rules of engagement, you have penalties to pay when there's a breach of contract or when you want to exit that contract. And obviously, the Nigerian Ogun State government terminated the contract based on certain technicalities. And this firm now took Ogun State to court. Whether when this case was going on, first they took them, I think they went to America, they went to courts in the UK, and finally they went to a court in France. When this case was going on, the first question you need to ask, was Ogun State government aware of the case? And if they were, was the state government being represented in court? And this also shows you how things are done in Nigeria. Because in Nigeria here, people go, they bid for contracts on the state level, they get the contracts. Sometimes they're 60% into the contract and the contract is just terminated. And Nigeria is a kind of country whereby court judgments are not honored or respected by either the state governors or the federal government, because we lack a society whereby there are checks and balances. Those various bodies that are meant to carry out checks and balances, they're all in bed together. So now they've done this to a foreign firm, and these are the repercussions. Yes, maybe they went too far seizing assets of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not Ogun State assets, but they've looked and said, look, how would the state government listen to us? How can we draw their attention? And now they've drawn their attention and Nigerians are suffering. This is why when you do things, you have to do things properly. There's what you call due diligence. You sign a contract. Before you even sign the contract, you have the Commissioner of Finance, the Minister of Finance, the Accountant General, the General of the State. They carry out due diligence. They investigate this firm and see whether are they reputable, are they able to carry out the work we want them to do. And if that's beyond you, you can employ an outside consultancy firm to help you carry out this due diligence. But Nigeria being what it is, it's never about due diligence, about the government of the day deciding what can we gain for ourselves for this contract. Because everything concerning development in Nigeria, it's never for the people. It's the people in power looking at what they can gain financially from those contracts being carried out. And this is what has happened now. Incompetence. And you can see Professor Patu Tommy even mentioned he had a contract with Ogun State government. It was approved. Now a new governor comes in and they terminate the contract. And Nigeria being what it is, they don't even give you a reason why. It's just because they can. But things are not done this way. This is a democracy. You have due process. There's certain processes and certain procedures that need to be followed. But Nigeria, it's like a governor comes in and he's an emperor. He decides who gets the contract and when they get the contract. And that's why you see, even on the state level, contracts are never completed, because what happens, as I said, because these contracts, all the governor cares about is what they can gain financially. So the person carrying out the contract, they look at it, they're like, I've paid people in government X amount of money. The local community, they're taxing me. I can't carry out the job, correctly. It cannot be carried out following international standards, because it's like, look, if I carry this job out properly, I'm going to be at a loss. I have to recoup my money, because some of them, they've borrowed this money from banks, they're paying interest. And this is what happens in Nigeria. It's because of incompetence, greed, and selfishness. That's why things are never done properly. We have the federal ministries. If Ogun State government was having problems, like carrying out due diligence, they could have gone to the Ministry of Justice. They could have even sent someone to approach the High Commissioner or the ambassador, the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, gone to the embassy and said, look, please, can you give us a report on this company? Are they able or capable of carrying out the job? But Nigeria being what it is, none of this was carried out, and now we're in a mess. Everybody from Governor Benga Daniels to Amosu, they're now giving stories that we don't need if due diligence was carried out. And this happens across state levels and federal government levels. But would we learn? We won't learn. It's something that will keep on happening, and it will always happen. Apart from that, also, we need to touch about what's happening with the protests in Nigeria. You see, the police they've invited the NLC, National Labour Congress chairman, or SecGen Ajero. They say, look, we want to invite you for questioning due to financing of terrorism or act of terrorism and sabotage. And you say, look, you guys are going down a dangerous road. This is a democracy. In a democracy, you have the right to protest. You have the right to voice your opinions. But no, we're living under a dictatorship, whereby now anybody that voices out anything against the government, the first thing they say, act of terrorism. It's so rich. So that means when people like our president now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and even Professor Wole Soyinka during Goodluck Jonathan's time, when they were calling for protests and encouraging people to protest, that government should have invited Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Wole Soyinka and say, look, you guys are sabotaging the nation. You're committing acts of terrorism and financing terrorism. This is a way to shut down the voices of the people. Imagine France. If you follow what happens in France, we know that in France, the railway workers, they always have this strike. So you want to tell me when the railway workers have a strike in France, what should happen? The security services should swoop into the union's headquarters, confiscate materials, and tell the president or SecGen, look, we're arresting you for acts of terrorism. Is this a dictatorship or a democracy? It is what it is in Nigeria now. Nobody cares. Everybody's an emperor. It's an emperor. Our president is gone to France. Obviously, that's medical treatment, or I assume it's medical treatment, just as Buhari was having his own medical treatment in London non-stop. And you wonder why the people are protesting. There's hunger in the land. A new presidential jet was bought for about $100+ million, and you ask yourself, that money should have gone into education, should have gone into healthcare, should have gone into upgrading existing infrastructure. And the problem we have in Nigeria, as I say, anything the government does is based on what do we benefit. It's like this coastal highway they're building. It's about $10 billion or so, thereabouts. And I tell people, we have infrastructure that is crumbling, or infrastructure that has crumbled. Yes, the coastal highway is a good plan, but I tell people, the infrastructure that has crumbled, why don't we use this money to upgrade that crumbled infrastructure? Federal universities are in a sorry state. Why don't we use this money to upgrade federal universities? Use this money to provide water. Use this money to provide light. Use this money to provide healthcare. Now all you're going to do, you're going to build a new infrastructure that you're not going to maintain. And that cycle continues. It's like the government has just forgotten about the people. Our government, they're just there for themselves. It's a cash cow. Nigeria is a cash cow to government officials. And it's sad. And even going back to this act of terrorism they're accusing the NLC chairman of, it's all circumstantial evidence. And I tell people, there's more evidence against Matwale, the Minister of Defense. There's more evidence against him for acts of terrorism, sponsoring terrorism, and embezzlement. There's more evidence against MC Oluomo for inciting tribal divisions and sabotage. But has the Police Inspector General, did the Inspector General of the Federation act? No. Because every time they go after people, it's a witch hunt against political opponents. If you're not a yes man for the government, they're coming for you. When will things change? Nigeria, we have seen, I've told people, you've seen what happened in Bangladesh. You've seen what happened in Kenya. Till we stand up united and put away tribalism and religion, nothing will change. And that is what the people in power want. They all want to divide us because they know united we stand, divided we fall. Thank you very much. This is your boy, Political Hamzy. You have a nice week. Take care.